Hey everyone, this is Louise from Butterfly Dolphin Crochet, and today I've got a few things to talk about. I know I said I was going to do a few videos over the next couple of days because I've been on holiday from work, but because of celebrations over Christmas and getting some stuff in from yarns, I got a bit sidelined. Um, so I've the last few days I've been making some projects out of some of the yarns I've got for Christmas presents and some yarns that I've got in through buying them myself. I've also had to buy some more yarn for some more projects that I thought I had enough but didn't. I have some yarn left over for some projects I thought I would need to buy more, but I didn't. So I'll talk about a few projects in which I've made over the last couple of days, and a few projects in which I've started with some yarn as well. Um, and then I also gonna might, depending on how far we get along in the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I might end up having to do another video, so I might end up loading that one up in a couple of days as well. But before I get on, I want to wish everyone a happy new year, and I hope your year will be better than the last one. I know everyone's been in the same boat with COVID, and I hope you all staying safe. But anyway, moving on. So the first thing I want to talk about is probably the yarn in which my mum got me for Christmas. It's called Batik Elements. It's a double knitted yarn, and it's from Stylecraft. And this shade is called Platinum 1935. And it's an 80% acrylic yarn and 20% wool. Each ball has 50 grams, and it has about 138 meters, which is 151 yards. Now, I had a sort of plan for it. I was planning to make a jumper, which is what I've ended up doing. Now, jumpers and hoodies, I tend to try and get a bigger size because I tend to like room within the jumper to be able to move. I do sometimes, if I get the size in which I am, I tend to feel a bit more restricted in them. So I tend to like to go for a bigger size up so I feel more room. So anyway, I decided to do a jumper from Bag Order, which I will link the video tutorial for it below. Now, she used a completely different yarn to me. She used I think it was a bulky 5 yarn. In all one colour in red. Now, I knew I was wanting to do that in that project with this yarn because it looks quite nice. But I didn't realise it was going to look as nice as it did when it was worked up. I'll show you it. Ooh, sorry about the bottle. So this is it. It's worked. I know I can't really show you all of it, but it's the granny. I think it's classed as the granny cluster stitch pattern, and it's worked all in the round, so to speak. You make the main part first, and then you actually then start on the arms of it. So even though it looks like it's all in one bit, it really isn't. You've had to do the main body bit, and then you've added the arms onto it. I think I might do it again. I have got some other yarn coming from Lion Brand in similar colour, but it's a solid colour. I think there's a purpley one, a bluey one, and I can't remember the third one. Clang. So I just had a bit of gunk coming out my mouth. But yeah, I've liked this one because it's quite nice fitting to me. And she also goes, if you're wanting to do this pattern, she also talks about how you can adjust it to your body type and do it more fitting towards you. So I do suggest to do that one. It is quite a nice pattern to do, and it's worked up quite nicely in this yarn. So my mum bought me 12 balls of it, and I think I've got 3 balls left. 3 full balls? 3 full balls left. So I only used 9 balls. I had to think about that then. And I used a size 5mm hook. I went down in the waist bit down 1mm. And then went back up once I got past my waist back to my hips. So it does have a bit of fit into it, but not much. Yeah, so and it's quite a nice soft wool because it's got the acrylic premium acrylic and the wool in it, so it has got quite a nice feel to it. I liked it because I usually wear, when I wear jumpers, a vest sort of top. I usually wear other tops underneath my jumpers. Usually 9 out of 10 times a vest top. But like I was talking to my aunt, well, my mum was talking to my aunt about me wearing it. But like she suggested, it would be nice to wear like a long sleeve t-shirt underneath it as well, because it will pick up the colours as well. So, and because I've only gone to my just over my elbow, it would probably make a nice outfit if you wore a solid colour underneath it. Maybe either one of the solid colours on the actual colour that I've got, or just a white colour. So I might have to go get some more clothes for that, or even better, make myself one. So that is probably one of the projects that I started on, I think it was on Boxing Day, and I finished it 2 days ago. So it took me a couple of days to do it, mainly because I was stopping and starting. I got to a certain time and decided to pause it because I didn't want to rush it or ruin it. So I will probably be making that again in another colour. Or I might just make it in a dress form, because she was planning to, the lady that got it from, Crystal, she was planning to make it in a dress. So I might do the same. I might get some more balls later on in the year and make it make a dress dress version, and I might make it slightly thinner. But that's for a later on podcast / tutorial / later on in the year. So some of the other yarn that I bought, that I got for Christmas, was from my brother. He decided to get me some mandala, Lion Brand mandala yarn. One lot I'll talk first because I haven't actually got a project for that yet, so I'm still thinking of what to do. So if you have any ideas, just put them into the comment section. But that's mandala, just the mandala yarn, and it's in the colour code Gnome, which is kind of got some lovely colours in it. It goes from like a purpley colour all the way through to back to purple, so it's got like the oranges, yellows, blues, greens. So it might make a blanket or a jumper, or I'm not sure yet. Or I might make, I've got 2 balls of that, so I might end up making a hat and cowl set out of that, but I haven't decided yet. So that's one yarn I have to think about what to make with. The other yarn he got me was mandala ombre yarn. Before I do go and talk about that, the mandala yarns, it's a a lightweight 3. You get 150 grams in a ball, which is 5.3 ounces. It's 100% acrylic, and you get 540 meters, which is equivalent to 590 yards in it. It suggests to use a 3.5mm hook or a 5mm, no, 3.75mm knitting needles and a 5mm hook. So yeah, and it also does show you the colours in which it starts off and works towards. So it's quite nice, and the yarn itself is quite soft, so I would wear it in something, but I don't know what yet. So anyway, back to Mandala Ombre in the colour Happy. He bought me 3 balls of these, did my brother, and I decided to do a corner to corner blanket. Because on the night sometimes I get too warm within my quilt cover, so sometimes I end up taking it off and then they get too cold. So I decided that I needed a blanket just to cover up and sleep with, so this is what I thought I'd come up with. Oh, should really put a stitch marker in there so it don't come out, or a needle, which I might do in about 30 seconds. Oh, no. Here we go. Because I was working on this morning. There we go. Sorry, I haven't got COVID, it's just sore throat from talking. Well, I hope I haven't. Anyway, so that's what it looks like. I won't show you all of it because I can't get it quite in the shot. But I like the way it works out because it's actually, the stripes are getting smaller and smaller. And I've just started, I think I've got it worked up at about 25 inches so far. I want at least 50 inches before I stop the increasing on it. I've used the actual stitch pattern that I've decided to use is my corner to corner pattern. I think I may have linked that in a previous podcast, but I'll still link it in below. So he bought me 3 balls, and I've just started my second one, and I mean literally just started it. I think it had on there, I've done the green row in it, and I've just started on like an orange row, so I've probably used about 50 yards off that ball. So I've got quite so I've literally have just started it. But anyway, so I've got 1 ball left. My nanny gave me some money, so I've used some of that to buy some more of them. They're coming in the next couple of weeks, so I might be able to finish the project off completely then. So I've put it to one side until I do get them yarns, them other balls, so then I can actually make it up and finish it off all at once. And I do tend to like to do that. And I also do tend to like making up projects and then putting to one side, starting another project and going back to it, and then starting another project and going back to another one that I started. So I do that quite a lot. So anyway, these balls are 150 grams, 5.3 ounces, 344 yards, which is about 315 meters. Again, it's 100% acrylic. It's a medium weight number 4, so it's slightly thicker than the last mandala yarn that I showed you. Knitting needles, it says to use a 4.5, and a crochet hook, it says to use a 5.5. So that's what I'm using. I'm using a 5.5 on that, and it's working out quite nicely actually. So I'm quite pleased with that. And I'm quite pleased with the colours and how they've actually come out within the pattern. So I'm really pleased with that. Now That's too bright. Go back to the other. There we go. Natural light. Now something the other yarn that I've actually bought over the last couple of days, and I've actually started making a shawl out of one of the colours. Now I think one of the colours is called a mint green, and I'll probably put the actual colour scheme, the actual colour in the description box below when I talk about the pattern that I'm using on that colour. But I ended up buying some what's called Lion Brand Mason Lace. Now, when I bought it, I didn't realise it was as thin as it was. Mainly because I thought, me and my mum were talking about making some Christmas ornaments, like an angel, for example. So that's why we bought some white ones. Now, when I read it, I thought, it'd be quite nice. And when I also read the actual fibre content, I thought, yeah, that'll be soft and that'll be quite nice to make a stuffed little angel to hang on the Christmas tree / put around the house at this time of the year. So I haven't completely read the actual whole in back of the label, so to speak. So when it came and I read and it said it was a super fine number 1 yarn, I thought, wow, that's the thinnest yarn I've actually used so far since I've started crocheting. So it's a number 1 weight yarn. It says to use a 2.75mm knitting needle and a 2.25mm crochet hook. I've never used that small of a hook before, so I struggled when I started doing the project, which I'll show you in a minute. With it, so I got it in Dolly White, Mandolin Margarita, which is like a pinky colour, whitey colour. They both say the same, and it's machine washable and dryable. And they do say you can make a shawl out of each ball. Now, each ball holds is they're all 150 gram balls. And yardage wise, they're 1,017 yards per ball, or per cake, whatever you want to call them. So that's equivalent to 930 meters. Now the actual fibre content is 70% acrylic and 30% nylon. So they're quite soft. Now my mum bought previously we've got some of the shawl and a cake ball in various different colours in a similar way to how I got them. Lion Brand quite frequently have a 4 for $10. I've also just started noticing they have on some ones 5 for $10. So I think they tend to come more out at this time of the year. Whether that's so that they can try and get more money at this time of year / deals, because you do tend to get more deals at this time of the year, being Christmas and everything. So my mum decided that she wanted to learn a new pattern, because I get crochet magazines every now and then. The crochet magazine that I've got this pattern out, I've left downstairs, so I might show you that in more detail in another podcast later in a couple of days. So she wanted to learn how to do that pattern. Now the nearest yarn that I had was the green, were these ones, and I just randomly picked up the green one I had. The green one. So I wasn't actually I wasn't planning to make this, but I didn't know what to make with it. So that's where I was at the stage with it. But when I've actually looked at it, I've undone, I'll have to redo that in a minute. But when I was actually looking at it, and now that I've actually done it, There we go. That's part of it. That's the start of it. So this is the pattern. It's a 2-row repeat, and it's once I got my head around some of it and actually realised that because on the pattern they add beads to it, but once I realised you can actually cut that little bit out of the pattern, it's actually worked up quite nicely and it quite quickly as well. Even though I'm using a size 3mm hook, so I'm actually using a 0.75mm bigger than what the label actually suggests, it still looks quite nice. And I'm actually going to leave it in as it is because I'm actually going to finish it off later on, maybe towards the end of the month. So I might actually do bits and bobs, keep going back to it and finishing it off. So you might not see this project finished off until the end of the month, says sometime in February. So you might not properly see it until then. But I am actually keeping it in that project, and I have got someone in mind for that, for a present for them, either for Easter / their birthday. I haven't quite decided yet, depending on when I finish the project as well. So there's that. And anyway, so that's some yarn that I have had. I think I have spoken about the fact that I had some yarn left over from a blanket I made for a friend / colleague at work. I did a granny square blanket for them, and I had some yarn left over. And I know my friend likes the similar colours to the yarn itself. It's the King Cole splash yarn. So for that going to waste, I know her and her husband like to snuggle up on an evening in front of the TV to watch a film. Now my friend, she tends to get a bit nippy. She's one of them that gets a bit cold on the evening, so she tends to like to wrap herself up in either a blanket or nice cuddly jumper. So I have made her a poncho for Christmas, and she loves it, absolutely loves it. So I will, hopefully, if I have time when I'm uploading the video / if I remember, add a picture onto it. It is that green poncho that I was showing you throughout the last couple of podcasts. But I have ended up doing a neck around it, the same as my purple poncho that I've showed you in the previous podcasts. But anyway, she likes snuggling up. My friend Kath that I did this poncho for, she loves snuggling up on the sofa with her husband. So I thought I'll make her a blanket, because then at least she's got a blanket there that helps remind her of me a little bit. / it's actually for a purpose. So this is the same yarn in which I made the granny square blanket out of, and I've turned it into a corner to corner blanket. Oh, hopefully I will. So I've only just started using it, and as you can see, it's got quite big. I think there's at least 10 rows there, maybe a few more. Let's have a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 16 rows. So it is getting there, and I still have a relatively full ball left to use. So hopefully I will get that quite big for them both to snuggle up into it. So that's some projects I've got on the go. Another project that's finished. So I've got a shawl from a present for someone, a blanket from a friend, a blanket for me, and I've just finished off my jumper for me from a Christmas present for my mum. And the other yarn that I bought was from Stylecraft, Stylecraft again. And now this is called Stylecraft Cozy Delight Chunky. It's 76% acrylic and 24% polyamide. Per bowl holds 240 yards, which is 220 meters, and it says to use a 6 to a 7mm hook or 6mm knitting needles. Machine washable at 30, tumble dry on cool, don't iron. And the colour that I got it in, don't know if it tells you on the label. Oh yeah, winter plum. So I've got 4 balls of that because when me and my mum bought the yarn, because she got herself it in pink. Because she's gonna make herself, well, she is making herself a poncho similar to the poncho my purple poncho that I've made. But what she's doing it in a solid colour, pink colour, and then she's doing it in like a bluey purple, 2 or 3 lines towards the bottom, going back to the pink, and then doing a bit of purple again, a blue purple I think it is. But my purple yarn, I did start making a hat, but I took it back out again because I didn't like the sizing of it. So I have to readjust that. So I might play with the ideas of what to make with that. Yeah. I might just end up making a scarf out of it. Again, for myself, because I haven't actually made much for myself lately. So obviously, another project that I've got on the go is my brother plays cricket, and one of the other lads he plays with, family I get along with quite nicely, and she surprised me on my birthday this year with sending me a card with a little token in it. And I didn't expect the token at all, and I very appreciated the fact that she has sent me it. So I wanted to do something nice for her to actually show her how much I appreciated what the token was. And some of the shawl and the cake yarn I thought might suit her quite nicely, especially if I do it into a shawl. She seems like she's a shawl type of lady. So I'm making a, again I will link the pattern in below. I have talked about this yarn quite a few times in the previous podcasts. The colour one I'm using is Moonstone, shawl and a ball. No, not shawl and a ball, shawl and a cake. Keep getting them two mixed up. Me and my mum both like these yarns, especially if you're doing something quite delicate and fancy and lacy. I tend to go straight to this yarn. I have tons of it. So yeah, the pattern I'm using is this pattern. I won't show you the full project because it's quite long. Because it's going to be, hopefully, try and be a wraparound. So that's roughly what the pattern looks like. It has trebles and double crochets with lots of chains in the middle. I would tell you chain amount, but I can't remember how many chains I did. Long story short, the multiple is 8 plus 7. So I just did loads of 8s, sets of 8s, until I got to the size that I roughly wanted, and then added 7 at the end of it. So that's what I did, and it's working out quite nicely actually. I'm going to stone it because I don't want to ruin it. But I might do something for my friend's birthday as well, because it's her birthday this month, so I might not make this pattern, but I might make another pattern in a similar colour as well, or the solid blue and white colour I've got. But that'll be in a later podcast to talk about. So that's that project as well. So I've got on the go. So I've got a few projects on the go, but one's not quite urgent. Two aren't urgent. One's a blanket for me out of the Mandalorian. Mandalot and Braylon. The other one is the shawl from now I think it's going to end up being towards. So the other projects I've got on the go. So I might end up finishing off the shawl over the next couple of weeks, and hopefully over the next month I have a hat to make, another shawl to make, and a blanket. So today I'm gonna go through some patterns on hats, because my friend's husband, he likes hats and he's a Leeds United supporter. So I've got some blues, not quite a bleed light blue apparently, but it's still, I would class it as blue. So you should be happy with that. So I'm going to turn that into a hat, hopefully. And hopefully I might get it big enough to fit his big head. No pun intended. But hopefully he'll appreciate that. So I've also got that yarn in a few other colours. It is Stylecraft Special Chunky. It's 6mm hook, crochet hook, and I'll take it out of the bag so I can properly read it. And a 6mm knitting needle. It says you can wash at 30 degrees and tumble dry on cool. It's I would say it's a medium weight number 4, and the colour is Aster, 103. In another podcast, I'll go through the other colours that I've got in this. So yeah, each ball's 100 grams, and it's 100% premium acrylic, and there's 157 yards in it, and approximately 144 meters. So that's quite a lot of yards and meters to make a decent hat out for him. If not, I have got another bowl. I bought them in 2 bowl sets. Now, the other yarn, I've wanted this for quite a while. The next 2 yarns I'm going to talk about now, I've wanted for a while. But this one in particular I've wanted for quite a while, because I was wanting to, because it's quite soft. It's 95% premium acrylic and 5% viscose. It's James C. Brett Northern Lights, 1 bowl, 1 shawl, cake. Now it's a double knitting yarn, so it's a size 3 weight. So it's quite soft, and I like the colours in it. The colour, well, it says colour shade NL1. It says to use, it doesn't actually, it's more for knitting, because it's only got knitting measurements on it. So it says it's a 4mm, so I probably would try and use a 5. They always say if it gives you knitting to go up a size in your hook, crochet hook size. So I would probably use a size 5mm hook for that. It's a 150 gram ball, made in Turkey, and it's 450 meters for 192 yards. So I've got quite a few yards in there to play around with to make something, and I've got 3 balls. Originally I was going to make another one of them jumpers that I showed you at the beginning of the podcast in it. Or was I going to make another? Gonna make a similar one but quite different. But when I was working with it, I couldn't quite get the fabric to lay nicely how I wanted it, so I took it out. And I think I'm now gonna make a matching hat and cowl set for myself, or I might end up getting it to my mum. I haven't quite decided that, because my mum seems to quite like the yarn, so I might make it for her for her birthday. So there's that, and then the other one. Now this is my favourite yarn. One of my favourite yarns now. I haven't actually quite worked it up yet. because I might end up getting some more depending on what project I'm going to do for it, because it's quite nice. It's from West Yorkshire Spinners, which I live in East Riding of Yorkshire, so yeah, that's the West Yorkshire Spinners, so just cut up the road for me. It's the Croft yarn, and it's the Shetland tweed, and the colour it's in, I think if I've read that right, it's Haler 7.45. Yeah. Each one of these is 100 grams. It says to use a 5mm knitting needle. I think I probably would use a size 4mm or 5mm crochet hook with it. It's 100% Shetland Island wool, so it's 100% wool. It says do not tumble dry, do not spin. You can wash it at 30. So yardage and meters twice. Meters to 166 meters and 182 yards. So it's got quite a lot of yardage in it. So I might buy a couple more and make a jumper. I might actually end up making this jumper out of it, because it looks quite similar, and I might enjoy wearing it a bit more as well. And I might do it exactly the same as that. So I might need another few balls with it, but it's quite expensive. So I think it was like, I can't remember. I'll have to put that in the comments section below. So that's my plan, I think, for that. So I might end up making some more of that over the next couple of months. I might save up and buy balls that and make for me Christmas present to myself next year. So yeah, that's roughly what I'm going to talk about today. Over the next couple of days I might do another podcast and talk about other yarns and other projects in which I've got lined up for some of the yarns, because I'm going to, like I said, I've got a hat to make, so I might, out of this yarn, so I might do a podcast over the next couple of days and talk about that hat and whether I think that's going to work. And I might even talk to you about where I'm at with this one, that project. And I might talk to you about the other project that I'm going to do in a similar yarn, in the blue yarn, off that one as well, because I've got that to do. And yeah, hope you all stay safe, and I hope you all have had a nice couple of days over the last couple of weeks, over the Christmas period / New Year period. So I hope you all staying safe. For now, bye.